Hello and welcome to the eNanoMapper Modeling Services tutorial. In this brief video, we will provide an overview of the capabilities of JaqPot. This can be found at www.jaqpot.org. For the first release of JaqPot, 3 types of services have been made available. These are Create DataSet, NanoQSAR Modeling, and NanoQSAR validation schemes. On your screen, you can also see the future applications of JaqPot which will be available in the second release. These are experimental design, interlaboratory testing, and read across. The buttons currently are inactive, but they will be activated for the second release. The main screen has 2 options available on the top left. These are Sign In and Create Account. If users do not have an account and click on Create Account, they will be redirected to the OpenTox webpage. At this page, users must provide some personal details and a username in order to gain access to OpenTox and by extension JaqPot. Once registration has been completed, users may access JaqPot using their login credentials. It can now be seen that 2 additional options have appeared on the top left of the main menu. These options are Actions and My Resources. Under Actions, we can see all the main options available on the main screen under their categories. These options have been made available on the main screen in order to make it easy for the user. Let's start by creating a dataset. All we need to do is click on Create Dataset from the main menu or go under Actions, Create Dataset. Here it can be seen that there are 2 options to create a dataset. One is by selecting a substance owner from the list provided, and 2 by completing the substance owner URI. These URIs are provided by the database service, which can be found at apps.ideaconsult.net/eNanoMapper. In this example, we will be selecting a substance owner from the list. Then by clicking Next, we go to the next screen. Here, we have all the substances included in this dataset. We have the option to select several of them or all of them. Then by clicking Next, it takes us to the next screen. This screen allows us to select experimental properties, the properties that have already been included in the dataset. It is sort of like a variable selection. Here we can take, for example, the physicochemical properties, expand it, and then select any particular physicochemical properties we want, none or all of them. We can do the same for all the other properties available. Finally, users may select additional descriptors for their dataset. These descriptors could be image analysis descriptors should an image be available, gene ontology descriptors, MOPAC descriptors should a PDB file be available, and so on. In this screen, users must also fill in description and title of their model. Users should provide clear names and descriptions in order to allow easier tracing of their models. On the next screen, we can see a task has been created. By clicking on here, we can monitor its progression. Once completed, we can click on See Result and view the dataset created. It has a unique ID and has been saved under My Resources Dataset. In this menu we can see a list of datasets, example datasets and all datasets. Example datasets are datasets provided by JaqPot and are usually derived from publications. All datasets are all visible datasets to the user, including the dataset just created. By clicking on JaqPot, we go back to the main menu. In order to train a model, users may click on Train under Nano QSAR Modeling, or go to Actions and click on Train a Model. On the next screen, users may search for a dataset using the search function, or choose one from the two lists below. The first list is example datasets, which are datasets provided by JaqPot, normally derived from publications. The second list are all datasets visible to the user, which are usually their own. When users select a dataset, they come up to the next screen, which gives a choice of algorithms, either regression or classification. After choosing one and clicking Next, users are prompted to fill out parameters for the model. More specifically, on the right-hand side, we can see that users may select variables, scaling method, and domain of applicability method. Under the Select Variables menu, there are 4 available options for the user. The first one is Select Input Variables and Endpoint. Here, users may select all the variables they wish the machine learning algorithm to use as attributes and select the prediction feature. The second choice available for the user is Select PMML. Here, users may choose from a drop-down menu from existing PMML files. Again, the prediction feature must be selected. The third option is to upload a PMML file. This option is available for users who have knowledge of the PMML language. A PMML file can be used not only for variable selection, but also for performing transformations. The final available option is to only select the endpoint, whilst all other variables will be used as input variables for the machine learning algorithm. The remaining options are Select Scaling Method, for which there is a scaling between 0 and 1 available, and also data normalization. Whilst for the domain of applicability, currently only the leverage method has been implemented. Finally, users must fill in title and description of the model to be produced. Under the model description, users are urged to be as descriptive as possible in this field by specifying the dataset used to build the model, the parameters set, and so on. Once all these parameters are set and the model information is complete, users may click Train. A unique task ID is given for monitoring, and the status changes to completed when the task is completed. By clicking on See Result, users may see the model that has been built. It can be seen that the information provided by the user has been carried forward, including information on the algorithm. Under Features, all menus are expandable. Finally, under Representation, should the software provide a PMML representation, users may download it by clicking on PMML. On the top right of the screen, there are 3 options available: Validate Me, Predict, and Delete. Delete is only functional if the model is built by the user. Validate Me allows user to perform cross-validation, external validation, or training set split validation, whilst Predict allows the user to select a dataset and perform predictions using the model built. In this tutorial, we will explore these options individually later on in this video. In order to make a prediction, users may click on Predict under Nano QSAR Modeling, or go under Actions and click Make a Prediction. As before, there is a search function included for users to search models by their name, but also two lists, one with example models, which are literature models, and the second with models built by the user. Once a model has been selected, users may select a dataset either by searching for it, seeking one from the example datasets, or selecting one of their own. Instead of selecting a dataset, users may alternatively insert values. Here, all attributes used by the model are listed, and users may manually enter the values. When selecting a dataset, users must be careful to select datasets compliant with the model. Again, a task is created, and users must wait for it to be completed. Once completed, users may click on See Result. In the results page, users can see the nanoparticle, the predicted value, and also the domain of applicability value. This will indicate if the model is trustworthy or not. By clicking on JaqPot, users can return to the main page at any time. For validation, three options are made available: cross-validation, data split, and external validation. These are also available under Actions. By clicking on cross-validation, the user is taken to a page for selecting a dataset. The same three options are available for the user for selecting a dataset. These are Search, Select from example datasets, or Select from all datasets. The next page allows the user to choose an algorithm. At this page, users may select parameters for the algorithm and the validation. It is highly similar to the training page, where algorithm parameters must be provided if necessary, and also users must select one of the options under Select Variables and Scaling Method. The additional options are to select folds and whether or not to stratify. Both of these are provided in the form of a drop-down list. Users may select 3, 5, or 10-fold cross-validation, and whether or not they want their data to be stratified. Under Task Monitoring, we can monitor the task status. Once the validation task has been completed, we can click on See Result. Validation results come in the form of reports. Reports include single calculations, array calculations, and figures. Specifically for validation reports, we can see performance metrics, a comparison between real and predicted, and two figures, a QQ plot and the real versus predicted values plot. Reports, models, algorithms, and datasets can all be found under the My Resources tab, as shown on the screen. By clicking on Reports, users may see all the reports they have generated. Users are also allowed to delete reports they have access to. If users click on Data Split Validation and select the dataset and algorithm, they are directed to the validation page. This page is highly similar to cross-validation, with one difference. Users must select the split ratio. This is a number between 0 and 1, indicating the percentage of data that should be in the training set. The remaining options are the same as with training and cross-validation. Again, a task is created. A status is shown on the right, and once completed, users may click on See Result. The report can be viewed on the fly or under My Resources again by clicking on Reports. The final validation scheme we are going to show is external validation. Users must select an existing model and an existing compliant dataset. Once again, the report is automatically saved under My Resources. It should be noted that all users have specific quota for all resources. The limits can be found by clicking on the username. Finally, users can log out by clicking on the button on the far right of the menu. Thank you for watching.